Today we are going to have a look at the Canon A1, which is one of the reflex I use the most, and it's the AE1 or AE1 program is much more known, but you also have the AV1, 81, and the A1 is a combination of all those because it provides the program of the AE1, which is a program with a speed priority, with the program of the AV1, which is the one which is the aperture priority. And with that reflex, you have the possibility to have both selected on that side. So here, when you are on T here, you are using the speed priority, so you can select the speed using a little knob here, and it ranges from of course the bulb 30 seconds and then up to a thousandth of a second, right? So that's speed priority. And then if you want to use the program like the A1 program, you go to P, which is the program. And if you want to switch to aperture priority, you just have to switch that little knob, and then it changes from to aperture. So here is 22 to 1.4. Of course, it depends on your lens. This one is opening up to 4, so if I'm having that kind of lens, I can only open at 4. Sorry. So in order to have those programs run, you have to set the lens to automatic, right? Which is here, so it's blocked on automatic, and then you don't. If you are out of the automatic position, then it means you are in manual mode, which is the fourth mode. So program, speed priority, aperture priority, or manual, right? Thus being said, when it's in that position, it's locked. So whatever you do, it doesn't work. And in order to be able to shoot, you have to position on like I would say active. It uses one battery, which you can check here. So if you press, you see a rapid blinking. This is the battery is okay. And if it's a slow blinking, it has to be changed soon. If it doesn't blink, that it's dead. One of the drawbacks of that, if you forget to leave it in that position, and it drains the battery rapidly, so you have to remind to go back to the lock position while you're not using it. It's like the same kind of problems you have on the Konica auto-reflex. It's similar. You have to really to remember, okay, I'm active or I'm locked. Okay. On that side, when you can select the shutter, you can drag the shutter. It's interesting to have that in that open position. I like it because you can go rather rapidly. And let me select a speed which is, I don't know, 1/50th of a second. And when you do that, you don't have to go very far to be cocked, and then a shutter. Okay, very easy. Of course, you can go back into that position, and this is very handy when you want to make many shots in a row, because you can shoot rather rapidly like that. One drawback you have in those cameras, you hear sometimes there's a little squeak, and sometimes it's even worse. So it needs a drop of oil around here. There's I will show maybe here one way to handle that, and maybe I'll do a video on how to correct the squeak, because I made another video in French, this one on another Canon A1 I have, because I've got 3 of them, and maybe I can show that here. Yeah, sorry, it's in French, but you can hear the squeak of the one what has to be corrected. So you'll see what I mean. On the other side, staying on that side, one very nice feature is that little lever that allows multiple exposure. So it's very, very handy. Say you want to make double exposure, so you shoot your first, and then you push that little lever here, and you start again, and then you're cut. You are able to shoot, but the film hasn't moved. So you're able to do a double exposure. If you want to make the third exposure, easy again, do that, shoot, and then the next one, you're going to have the shutter in place and the film advance. So very easy to do a multiple exposure with that camera, which is a major advantage here. What else here? You've got 2-second delay, 10-second delay if you want to use it as a, we don't use that anymore a lot, but it used to be handy. So as I said, on that side you've got the test for the battery. Here you can select the sensitivity of the film with a broad range from 9 to 12,800 ISO or ISO. Now we say it. You've got exposure correction here. You can select with pushing that little knob, and when it's on, it's a normal exposure. If you go that direction, you underexpose. If you go in that direction, you overexpose. So 1.5 is one tick, one opening, one diag underexposure, 1/4 2 diag underexposure, and in that sense 2 is 1 diag overexposure, 4 1 diag 2 diags overexposure. And you can select what third of diag opening, so it's okay. It's very useful if you want to do some bracketing, for example. If you're not sure about the exposure, the exposition you want to use, you can take one shot there, one shot overexpose, one shot underexpose. Or if you want to do like low key or high key or creative effects, it can be nice. Or compensate because of a bad lighting situation. To compensate, there is a better use of that little knob here. That keeps the exposure when you press it. So say you want to take a photo of somebody sitting close to the window, a lot of lights on the window, the person is a bit in the dark. You can go close to the person, take a measurement, go back. It will keep the exposure. So even if you change the speed or aperture depending on the mode, it will keep the couple speed aperture according to the measurement made, and then you shoot, and it will compensate. So very, very useful button to know, and a good feature on that camera. Very good quality lens. This one is a 17 millimeter with 4 opening SSC, which was one of the top-notch lens. Overall, all the lenses are very good. Some are opening with that kind of opening. The ones which are the older ones, and the newer ones are just all black, and they don't have that little. I don't know what it's called, but the way to put them is a bit different. I won't show that because it's something that's not that important in my mind. What else? If you want to put a film inside, you have to lift that, open, and then you access to the film compartment. Well, very classical, right? This is a bit a problem sometimes because of that. But as I'm using glasses, this is nice for me. But it's sometimes a bit. When you open it, it goes in the way a bit, but that's okay. Very classically, when you want to remove your film when you're finished, you push there, and then you open that little lever, and you turn to get your film out, and then you open and take your film out. Very classical way of handling that. You can attach some motors, so you've got the motors connection there, and the motor will turn that. I don't see the use of that, because it takes extra power. And the advantage of having a manual camera is that the battery you use, that's under there, so you've got a little attachment that sometimes is been gone, and you've got this little hatch here, which is a bit fragile when you put a 6 volt battery, and a 6 volt battery like that, for I would say a normal usage, would last about a year. So if you're careful with your lock and active lever and use it correctly, you can use your battery for a long time, because there's no autofocus, there's no motor, so there's not a huge energy consumption. And that's the beauty of those analog cameras, is you need the energy only for the matter, for the exposure matter and the electronic, and it doesn't need a lot of energy. So all in all, a very nice camera. As I said, I have 3 of them. One with 50mm, the one I also have with that 17mm, and the third one is with 135mm. So wherever I go for landscape, I take that one, or I want to do some street shooting, I'll take the 50, or if I want to do some portrait, I take the 135. If you put a film inside, I recommend to drop the piece of paper or the film inside to remind you that there is a film inside and what kind of film it is, so you know if you're the sensitivity, if it's black and white or color. If you don't use it for a while and you don't finish your film, it's good to keep that to remind you there is a film inside, especially if you have numerous cameras like I do. I will show some photos taken in black and white at the end. I made another video in French with the camera with 135mm and the squeak, if you want to see it. And I will put the same photos at the end for you to have an idea of what can be done with that camera. Most of the photos have been done with the 50mm. I don't have a lot of photo with that 17mm. I should go out and take some more, so if I have the time, I will do that. So thank you for watching. Just following the black and white photos, and keeping some flow of new videos coming soon. Thank you. Bye bye.